Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to read cross-stitch patterns and how to make your own cross-stitch patterns. So first we're going to look at a cross-stitch book. So this is just your average cross-stitch book full of lots of different patterns. So we'll go to this one here with some cute little ducks. So if you look closely at all of these here, there's a bunch of little symbols on there, on the ducks there. So those symbols are recreated down here at the bottom. So each one of the little symbols, so here's like a little check mark, and this is a number. So this DMC is the brand of cross-stitch floss that I showed you guys in one of my previous videos. So this number corresponds to the number you'll see in the store when you're trying to buy the correct colors, and then this is just a description of that color so you know where to look for that number. So this check mark symbol, you can see it more up here, so that's how you know you're doing the right color. And then this one's also got right here, so this is a quarter cross, so this is just regular crosses like we have done before. So this is a quarter cross, so this was only shown a couple of times in this pattern, and it's up here on the bunny's nose. You can see that. So what that is in order to make that nice little rounded angle there, you're only going to do part of a cross. So instead of doing a full cross like you normally would, you're only going to do 1/4 of it, and you're going to go in right in the center of that Aida pattern there. You're not going to go in one of the holes that already exists. So another thing we have here is the back stitch. So this here stands for back stitch. And so right here you can see there's only 2 of them in this pattern, and they are the borders. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it's just this black border that goes all the way around that is signaling this black-brown back stitch that is going to be your border. So one of the places where that blue back stitch is right on the middle of their hat. They've got a cute little line on their sailor's hat. So that's what the blue line is, and so that's what your back stitch lines look like. So some patterns are really big, so I'll show you this one here. So this is a pillowcase. So it's gonna be pretty large once you finish making it, so they can't fit it on a single page. So they show you the picture of what it looks like, and then the pattern is actually further in the book. So this one is several pages. So this one's actually 4 pages long, and if you look here, it's got a little description. So it says, what size fabric they used to make that pillowcase. And it also says, what kind of floss they used and what the actual size of the design is. And if you look right here, this is the count number. And so this is what kind of count you're going to be using in that Aida cross stitch fabric and how large it's going to end up being if you use that count number, right? So you can do this pattern on any count number, any of these 4 count numbers, and it'll look fine. And this is what size it'll end up being. So, this one is very complicated, right? There's a lot of different colors in here, and you got to be mindful of where your seam is on your page there. Makes things a little bit difficult. So one thing to be very conscious of is this right here. So I have my colors listed, the back stitch, the number, and the symbol for them. So this one here, right, this 327 is a dark purple, right? A very dark purple is what that means. But you see the back stitch color is yellow, and so that makes sure you can really see it. So if we look over here on the pattern, right, all the way around the petals of this flower are yellow stitching, right? But in the actual pattern on the other page, if we turn back and look at it, right, this other pattern, there isn't yellow stitching there, right? There's that dark purple in between the petals there. And when we look at the pattern, it's just to make sure that we can really see it, right? So we can really tell that, there's a border line there. Because if it wasn't there, it would really blend in, right? If we kept it the same color, it would really blend in with the other stuff there. So as you can see, there's lots of different symbols there, and those are just there to make sure that you don't lose track of what colors you're using, because a lot of the colors in this pattern are very similar, and that'll happen a lot in patterns. And so that's why even if you have a relatively simple pattern, there are usually symbols amongst the colors. This is also very useful because a lot of patterns are black and white, and so having the symbols there makes things a lot easier for you. So here is the other 2 pages of this pattern, right? So it's 2 full pages there. And an important thing to note is this thing down here at the bottom, that's the blue one there that says indicates last row of previous section of design. So that's important, and it's right here all along the side here. And so that just is the last row of the last page of the pattern. So that shows us, you know, you're not actually going to do that again. It just shows you where it was, so you know you're matching it up correctly when you're actually sewing it. So that's very important. But so that is how you read a cross-stitch pattern. So there are a ton of patterns out there in lots of different books. You can find them online, but that is how you read how most patterns are. So now I'm going to show you how to make your own patterns. We'll start by looking at this piece. So this is one of the first pieces that I did, and this is almost completely freehand. What I did is I defined the borders of it. So I found an image on the internet. Here's the little image that I found of a cute little rat, and then I cut him out and traced him onto that Aida fabric, right? Tried to line up some of the pieces of him so that it, you know, lined up with the thread. I traced him using pencil, so once you're done tracing him, I kept the two kind of side by side and just filled in the details, just how I wanted him to look, right? I want him to be smiling a little bit more and be a little bit more cutesy, and so I left out some of those, you know, a lot of the details that exist in this image. So this is one way to create your own patterns, is to just find an image that you like and just kind of try and copy it onto here, mostly freehand. I have had a lot of success with this. It's worked really well for me, but it's not for everyone. So another way to make your own patterns is by using graph paper. So this is a pattern that I'm making I'm going to make a patch for the 4th of July. I did this in the same vein as the patterns that you can buy. So I have a symbol associated with each color. So the X's are red, the dashes are white, and the little circles up here are blue. And then a dashed line is a blue line, and then the solid line is a black line. So how I did this is looked at an image that I wanted to create, and that is the American flag. So here is a flag here, and I just looked at, you know, tried to line it up best with, you know, how many stitches I thought would make it look the most similar to the original. So that's kind of what this is here, and then I made the part here with the blue and the stars. So this is just a way to make patterns by taking something that already exists, right, the image of what you want to be on whatever you're going to cross stitch, and just turning it into a cross stitch pattern on graph paper. So this is a really great way to make patterns for things that, you know, you have a really specific thing in mind for what you want to do, or you have, you know, a very unique shape that you're trying to make. This is a great way to go. So this other kind of making a pattern, this one here, is really great if you have an idea of what you want to do, but you're maybe not hard set on exactly what it has to look like, right? I wanted to just make a cute little rat here, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't really attached to any colors or anything. I just wanted him to be, you know, a cute, happy little rat. And that's the difference between kind of this way of making patterns and this way of making patterns, is that it's all about how set you are on a specific design. So the other thing that you can do is just not use a pattern, right? You can completely freehand stuff if you want to, and really get a feel for what cross-stitching is like. And freehanding will also help you kind of understand what cross-stitching is like, even if you know you do something small, make like a little bookmark. I made a bookmark with little flowers on it and gave to a friend, and that was one of my first free-handed cross-stitches. So that is something that you can also do, which is very fun. So this has been how to make a pattern and how to read a pattern. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments.